So there's like 7 or 8 days left to get to 60,000, which would be really cool. Possibly 70,000. I think that would be probably overshooting things. Hi everyone, welcome to drafting part 2. This is the second video of me drafting in the month of August. Last time I filmed from the 1st of the month to the 15th of the month, and now we're picking up at the 16th and we're going to go all the way to the end of the month. It's going so well so far. I have 31,000 words, roughly, maybe a little bit more so far, and the goal is to get to 50K by the end of the month. I'm probably going to surpass it. I expect to, but my actual content goal is to get to the midpoint of my story. Right now, I'm kind of like heading into Act 2. And so we've got to write all of the fun and games and get to the midpoint by the rest of the month. So that's 2 weeks to get there. And I'm worried about if I'll hit that content goal because I have been overwriting since I could write at all. And that's still my main problem right now is I am just wildly overwriting, but it's okay. We're just having so much fun that I decided it's a revision problem. Come along on the rest of my journey of drafting the second quarter of this book. If you haven't watched part 1, go watch that right now. It's in the description below. And if you like this video, like and subscribe and ring the bell so that you get notifications when I post the rest of my drafting updates. Okay, let's get into it. Okay, it is August 21st. Time for a word count check-in. I'm gonna do this with a paintbrush. I left you off here at 5,221 words on August 14th. I think that was last weekend, so I think it's been an entire week since I've done an update. My bad. I was at 31,142 words, and I just finished chapter 5 and had started chapter 6 that day. Okay, so then we've got a little bit of a burnout day. That kind of makes sense. 198. We've got a 2,798 word day, 1066. That wasn't even quite hitting my NaNoWriMo goal. And then up here, we've got 2064, 210, that's really low. And then yesterday was a weekend day, so I got a big one, so 4,386. Where we last week were at 31,000 words, we are now at 41,000 words. And almost 42,000 words. I only have 10 days left and I'm already at 41,000 words, so I'll hit 50K no problem. Again, it's content-wise, that's tricky. So on the 20th, yesterday, I finished Act 1 and I started Act 2 and got pretty far into it, into the next chapter, chapter 8. So I think that's enough time at looking up the chart and kind of absorbing these numbers and the chapters. So you saw my word counts. I'm pretty happy with them in general. I'm not happy with how fast I'm moving through the book. I think it's going to take me longer than I bargained for to get through the whole thing. So I calculated the average, and the average chapter length is about 5,500 words. What? That's so big. That's too much. It doesn't mean that I'm going to continue writing chapters that long, but basically, so yesterday when I did 4,300 and whatever, 86 words, what I also did is I spent 4 hours outlining the rest of the book, and I kind of broke it up into 38 chapters. That's not a crazy number of chapters, but if they average to about 5,000 words a chapter, that's 200,000 words. And I saw that number and I was like, oh, no, because I'd have to cut half of the book out if I wrote that. So I can't do that. Oh my gosh, it's stressing me out. So I want to focus on 2 things that I've learned this week about my process and things that I've been just thinking about and kind of ruminating on, and also things that I kind of were brought up by doing a lot of research online on YouTube and all that kind of stuff about tips for overwriters and stuff like that. So the number one thing is about overwriting. I kind of have this panicky feeling about it, right? Where I'm like, I know this is too long. I know that. But what I'm doing is I'm putting notes and saying, like, I think this is too wordy, could be cut. I think that this section was boring, could be cut or revised to be a lot shorter and snappier. There's a lot of room in revision to fix this problem. And I don't think that I have to get it perfect in this draft. And I think that that's kind of taking the pressure off of me, is realizing that this is a draft and it doesn't have to come out to the perfect 100K. I know that there's room for improvement. It's not like everything in here I know is completely necessary. Like, I'm aware when I'm overwriting and when something is really tight. And so I think that I'm panicking, but I'm also creating a lot of work for myself, so I'm worried. But I also know that there's a part in my plan, in my process for cutting down the overwriting. And if I am an overwriter, I should 100% try to write the tightest story that I can. But I think that even if it comes out as a bloated draft, which I think it will, that's okay, because no one has to see that product. I can just cut and cut and cut and revise and do all of that stuff. And I know that I'm driven, and I will do that. The structure's good, and I'll fix it later. It's okay. It's number one. Number two is about my outlining process, which is also stressing me out because I didn't finish outlining when I started writing because I had a deadline of August 1st, and I was like, I have to just start my draft. So I started drafting and my outline wasn't finished. I knew that there were plot holes. I knew that the ending wasn't how I wanted it. I'm not exactly positive about like some really big elements at the end. And I'm getting so nervous about it because I'm like, I need to thread these through the whole story. So how can I possibly not know? And then I realized I'm still a discovery writer. After trying to outline for so long, my nature is still to discover as I go. And how this really sunk in for me was, I think it was in chapter 6. I was writing the debate for one character, and I was just writing it. I had this perfect plan. I had scene by scene exactly what I was going to do. And I started writing, and then I was like, wait, what if they just say this? It changed the entire trajectory of this character's conflict with the sub-character, which then informs the entire backbone of the mystery plot. And I was like, oh my gosh, that's perfect. It's the perfect introduction of tension. It can carry all the way through the end. It makes the ending way more poignant. And I was like, there are details to this story that I cannot figure out by just sitting and thinking. I have to put my fingers to the keys and type, and I will work out the details as I go. The problem for me before with discovery writing was that I did not have a structure. And so now that I have a structure, what I can do is play around with the meaning and the minutia and the nuance within the structure to get to that final, like, real good story that I want. Some of those details are just going to have to get figured out as I go because that's who I am, and that's okay. And so these two big realizations were just like, I'm feeling anxious about this. This is making the writing process less fun. So how can I change my mindset to just figure out, number one, how I can mitigate the problem right now, and number two, how I can plan to tackle the problem later? Because my main job right now is not to figure every single little thing out. My job is to create a workable draft that I can change and perfect later. I just need to keep writing and enjoy myself. I'm keeping my mind open to brainstorming and to new ideas, but I'm also drafting at the same time. And it's weird trying to keep both channels open, where I'm like, I need production and I also need openness to like that creative brainstorm at the same time. And I thought that it wouldn't work. I thought I would have to close one off, but I'm actually doing okay keeping them both open. I think I'm going to be exhausted by the end of this, because it's not just, oh, everything's figured out, let me draft. And it's not just, oh, I'm not drafting, so I'm not doing the hard work of drafting, but I'm just thinking about things all the time. It's both at the same time. I think we're gonna need to take like a month off and just like read a book a day or something, just like refill the well. Anyway, have a great day. I'll see you later. Bye. I'm back with 50K. Yep. It's the 24th. Right here, we have hit a landmark. So this is officially on track for the most words I've ever written in a month. I think the highest was 53,000 last November. So there's like 7 or 8 days left to get to 60,000, which would be really cool. Possibly 70,000. I think that would be probably overshooting things. I left you off on this day, on the 21st, and I was like, I don't know if I'm gonna write because it was getting late. I forced myself to write, and it was great, and it was so much fun. And I wrote 1,469 words. The next day I wrote 2,530 words, and yesterday I wrote 3,683 words. Yesterday was a really, really wonderful, productive day. Okay, let's go up to chapters. When I left you off on the 21st, I had just finished chapter 8. Is that right? Yeah. So I've only written one more chapter since then, but it only took 2 days. So 50K is a lot of words. That's supposed to be the midpoint. Am I close to the midpoint? Let me tell you. I'm on chapter 10. The midpoint is scheduled for chapter 16. that is not chapter 10. Obviously, I'm still way overwriting. No one had any confusion about that point. Just one last thing while we're still looking at the calendar here. So if we hold it up like this, you can see all of these empty days. My goal is to get to the midpoint, like not to even actually write the midpoint, but just to get to it, which would be writing through chapter 15. Okay, in the next 7 days, writing 5 chapters. I think that's completely unrealistic. However, I really want to, because then I can at least say, even though I grossly overwrote this, at least in 1 month, I got to the midpoint. It's a little bit less, it's like a chapter or 2 less than my 1 month goal, right? Is to get halfway through the book and then to write the other half next month. If each chapter averages about 4,000 words, that would be about 20,000 more words. 7 days. I think that's not going to happen. Anyway, I have goals. I don't think I'm going to hit these goals, but I have them. Okay, things I want to call attention to as of right now in the last 3 days. Number 1, I have been pantsing wonderfully. Like I was saying, that I really think that things are going to come together as I just kind of add things into the scaffold I've created. That is totally happening. Like, there are 3 things in the past couple days that I've just been like, oh, I can connect that, and that's perfect, and makes way more sense. Maybe outliners don't feel this way. I have no idea. Like, genuinely, I want to like get together with some outliners and be like, what is it like for you? Like, how can you not discover things as you go? That doesn't make any sense to me. I have this sense that most writers do discover things as they go, because the act of writing itself is discovery. And it's like, I have outlined this like as thoroughly as I can, like this stuff that I'm doing right now, like these earlier chapters. And it's like, you go into it and you have to just make it up as you're there on the page. This process of filling in the gaps is like where I'm finding the most fulfillment in the actual writing. And so I love that. As for outlining and kind of where I was, I think in the last update with saying that I'm kind of keeping open the brainstorming part of my brain while I am opening up the production channel, which, as you can see, I've just written 50,000 words in the past 24 days. I have kind of switched off the brainstorm because I am now relying on the pantsing. And I think that's okay, because over the weekend, when I outlined the rest of the story, I realized that, like, I don't think I have to be in brainstorming stage anymore. I think I kind of did as much as I could. And, like, maybe if I had just decided I'm going to keep brainstorming for another month, I would have figured out a lot more stuff and, like, whatever. But I didn't decide to do that. And I think I have what I need. And so I'm just gonna keep going for it. It's like, once you sit there and you're on the page and you're characterizing people and you're actually seeing like how they play with each other, things just come alive. It's so cool. I love writing. Oh my gosh. Especially when I have something I believe in. Like last time I was writing, I was like, I don't know about this. Have I figured out if I'm an outliner or a pantser? No, I have not. I will be outlining everything I write in the future, because that's going to help me, but I don't think that makes me an outliner. I don't know if there is such a thing as a dichotomy between the two. Maybe there is. I don't know. I have to figure this out. I have to talk to people because my mind is kind of blown right now. I don't know, you guys, but I got a book to write, so I gotta go. See you later. It is the last day to write within the month of August. Usually I would not care because it is a continuous drafting process. However, I am 3,000 words away from hitting 70,000 this month. The status is that earlier today I wrote 3,500 words already, and I am now going to attempt, beginning at 8:30 p.m., to write 3,000 words to finish off the month of August with 70,000 words. This technically doesn't matter because I have skyrocketed past my 50,000 word goal because I thought that was pretty reasonable for me because I know that I can accomplish that. Let's just say things got a little crazy and I've definitely overworked myself, but here we are, and I don't want to miss out on this opportunity to write 70,000 in a month. So I'm going to do that right now, and hopefully I will be updating throughout the night as we go, and maybe it'll stop me from falling asleep because that's usually what I do around this time of night. So let's go. It's really slow going, and I'm getting tired. Let's see if I can make it to 2,000 because I have my doubts. It's 10:55. I am at 2,000 words. I think I actually fell asleep for about 5 minutes. My brain just kind of shut off. I was like, I can't do this anymore. I really thought I was 100% going to sleep. And I don't really know what happened. I just kind of, like, the fog just cleared a little bit and I sat up and I was like, I can do this. It's no big deal, 1 more hour. I'll be done around midnight, and I probably won't write tomorrow morning because I'm gonna be fried. Anyway, gotta go. I wrote my last 1,000 words. I can't believe I did that. So I just calculated everything because the word count on the actual document isn't the same as my word count for the month because of the prologue. So I calculated it, and this month I wrote 7,126 words. Yeah. Today I wrote 6,333 words. That might be my highest ever actual drafting word count. I'm not sure. I have a feeling that I've hit 6,000 something before, but it's close if it's not it. I don't necessarily feel good because I know that some parts of the scene were just absolutely powered through in such a way that, like, I'm gonna have to do revisions that I wouldn't have had to do if I just waited until tomorrow. But hey, you have to make choices, and this is the choice I made, was to get 70,000 words in a month. And I just wanted to say that I've done it, and now I can, so I like that. And whatever, I'll spend some time tomorrow morning like going back and revising stuff and just being like, what did I even say? I hope I don't burn out from this. We'll see, whatever. Anyway, yeah, I'm going to bed immediately. Okay, I finished the month of August with 70,146 words. That's stupidly insane. Look at those words. Oh my gosh. I finished, where am I? I finished chapter 13 and I got a bunch of words of chapter 14. So the goal was to get like kind of halfway through the midpoint area, which would be like chapter 16, which I didn't do, but I'm not that far behind. 70,000 words to get to not even the midpoint is way too many, as you may know. That's okay. We're just kind of rolling with it. You know, I figure if the book ends up to be like 140,000, I can cut 40,000 words. No problem. We got this. Yeah, that was crazy. So I'm going to have a video about some tips about how I drafted that much, because I feel like I just gave you the updates, but I didn't really tell you like how that happened. I'm going to do another video kind of explaining like kind of my method, or like just things that I was doing while I was drafting that helped the process go really far. But I think the main thing is just that I was so excited about it that it just happened. Like, I just always wanted to write. I was writing in like 3 different sessions a day. I was writing as much as I could per day. And yeah, I did not expect to write that much. That was a lot. And if you notice, wait, let me get my board up. I wrote 11,000 between the last 2 days of August, which is so many. And I definitely pushed myself. It was definitely a lot. So how am I doing burnout wise? I have only written 3,000 words, and it's September 5th. I was sad that I'd sacrificed the quality for just getting the 70K title. So I went back, and for the first couple days of September, I edited a lot of the stuff that I had written in those last 2 days of kind of just like headlong sprinting towards that goal. And I actually really like them now. So I don't really have a problem with any of the stuff that I wrote. I think it's really great. But what I did have to also do was I'd kind of zoomed through the content that I had really clearly outlined in my mind and on my outline. And I had other stuff a little bit more vaguely outlined. And so I'm heading right into the midpoint, and I realized that I needed more tension. And so I kind of took some time and did a lot of like brainstorming and just kind of like deep thinking about how to up the stakes and the tension and the conflict, and kind of the intrigue of the midpoint, because it's such an important moment. And I'm only now starting to feel comfortable with kind of getting back into like sprinting through the rest of this draft. And I know that there'll be other moments where I'm going to have to stop and kind of do some more thinking. So I felt like that was good to take some time after writing so many words in so few days to kind of regroup, edit, and think about how to plunge in later. I feel like that was just a really successful month. I'm also just so happy to be back to drafting again. I just love it. There will be a part 3 and 4, possibly 5 if I can't finish it in the month of September. I'm hoping to. I don't think it's going to happen. But stick around for part 3, which will be the first half of September, and then part 4, which will be the second half of September. Follow me as I finish drafting this stupidly long, awesome book. I can't wait. Okay, happy writing. I hope you're drafting, plotting, brainstorming. All of that is going so well. Tune in next time. Bye.